All righty, welcome to the Affirmative Talk, and I'm gonna go over several of the games that happened on this past Saturday. First off, let's talk about the Orlando Magic and the Washington Wizards. As you can see, they won 138 to 118. Let's kind of go to the box score so we can kind of see everything and what happened on that game. 138 points. That tells me right there that no defense was played, none, no type of defense. So we have Paolo. He had 15 points. He's possibly going to be the rookie of the year. But at 15 points in Orlando Magic, are they going to be far as that good? No. So I'm not going to stand too long on analyzing the Orlando Magic, but you have Markel Fultz. I like Markel Fultz. Markel Fultz was a top pick several years ago, and he was receiving a lot of slack from a lot of people, and he has really worked on his game, and he stuck with it even through the heartache and pain of dealing with disappointments from different teams. He has really found his niche with the Orlando Magic, so I'm proud of him. You have Franz Wagner, who had 20 points. Let's go to the Washington Wizards. Kyle Kuzma had 25 points. He has been blossoming, playing for the Washington Wizards. Good for him, man. I'm proud of him and everything that he's been doing for the Washington Wizards. You had Bradley Beal. He came off a hamstring injury. He had 17 points. And you had Achuramo, pronounced Hachimura. Sound like a Chinese name. He may have some Chinese in him. He had 30 points on Saturday, on yesterday. And then you had Delon Wright. He had 20 points. Delon Wright had 15 points. So with that being said, man, you could see Washington Wizards, they beat the Orlando Magic. I don't think neither one of these teams are going to be in contenders, especially coming from out that East spot. So let's get to the actual Charlotte Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks. As you can see here, is that the Charlotte Hornets beat the Atlanta Hawks 122-118. Let me just say about the Charlotte Hornets, man, they have really been a big disappointment. I mean, a big disappointment. And let's kind of go through the stats. You have right here, PJ Washington had 23 points. Mason Plumlee had 25 points. Terry Rozier had 34 points. He's an amazing player. LaMelo Ball did not play because he had illness. Let me just say this about LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is a decent player. Um, for me, he still needs to work on his outside shot to become more of a threat. And he's a streaky shooter, but I want him to be consistent. I'm looking for consistency. He definitely doesn't have the consistency like a Steph Curry or like a Damian Lillard. I don't think so. I like Terry Rozier. I think he's a very good player. He could play the point. He could play the shooting guard. He comes off screen wells. He can actually make and create a shot for himself. So they actually did good. Now let's go through the Atlanta Hawks. Trey Young scored 25 points. Murray scored 26 points. And then you had DeAndre Hunter scored 25 points. John Collins, 11 points. And Capella had 12 points. And then you had AJ Griffin that had 13 points. I feel there's a lot of things that's going on with the Atlanta Hawks. There's a lot of things there. You can tell that there's something going on where there's really no chemistry with the Atlanta Hawks. And I just feel will they make the playoffs? It's a possibility. Will they go deep? No. They just missing that nucleus, like maybe one or two more players, good role players that's going to make them a contender. The Charlotte Hornets, man, they're going to be bad again. They just don't have it for whatever reason, man. They're just not putting together enough good basketball to put W's on it. So let's go to the other games that we had on Saturday. We had the Milwaukee Bucks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The actually Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me tell y'all something, man. Cleveland, man, is no joke. Cleveland is a team that is a scary team to play, especially if you're playing them in a 7-game series. So let's kind of go through it, man. You had Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let me see, and I know I pronounced that name wrong, but I'm not going to even edit that out because you know what? It is what it is. So let's kind of go through it, man. You had Bobby Portis had 23 points. Pat Connaughton had 15 points, and then you had Brooke Lopez with 10 points and Drew Holiday with 28 points. It appears that Giannis did not play for whatever reason. I know they have his brothers, his coach's decisions, but it doesn't seem like Giannis did not play, which that could be a big contributing factor on why they lost that game. Let's kind of go through the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. You had Yvonne Mobley had 38 points. You had Darius Garland had 21 points. I like him. He is a young point guard. He definitely can shoot. He definitely can actually dribble, cross someone up, and actually get to his sweet spots to be able to be consistent. He has a nice little floater. And I like him as a basketball player. He is a great asset, especially to Donovan Mitchell. Then you had Chris LeVert had 13, Jared Allen had 12 points, Isaac Okoro had 9 points, and then right here you have CD Osman that had 13 points. From what it looks like, Donovan Mitchell did not play in that game for whatever reason. I believe he's probably was out, and as you can see here, yes, and then Giannis did not play because he was an inactive player. So shout out to Cleveland Cavaliers, man. I like them as a ball club, and there definitely is something to deal with. Now let's get into the next matchup that happened on Saturday. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They beat Houston Rockets. Let me tell y'all something, man. Anthony Edwards can ball. Anthony Edwards can ball. And several of the dunks that he had did in that game was nasty. So let's kind of get into the stats. So let's start off with the Houston Rockets. You had Jalen Green that had 10 points. Jalen Green's okay. Eric Gordon's okay, 16 points. You had Sengun at 19 points, Easton at 14, and then you had Kenyon Martin Jr. at 15 points. And I believe that is Kenyon Martin Sr.'s son right there. Then you have Josh Christopher that had 10 points. They have a lot of young team. They have a young nucleus of a team, and they just not going to be able to win a lot of basketball games because they're so young and inexperienced. Anthony Edwards scored 44 points, man. Let's just kind of break down his stats. He was 17 from 29 for 58.6 field goal percentage, 8 from 16 from three-point range, which was 50%. He shot 16 three-pointers. Wow. I believe we're going to use his thumbnail for this video since he's right now is one of the top NBA players that actually did good on Saturday night. 2 for 2 from free throw. He had a total of 6 rebounds. He had 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and he had 5 turnovers, but he had 44 points. I like D'Angelo Russell, man. D'Angelo Russell, man, has really come along throughout his career. As you can see with his field goal percentage, 54.5%. He had 23 points, 8 assists. I like that, man. That's real good. Then you had Nathan Knight had 19 points, and then you have a couple of other players that was under 10 points. So shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves with that. I'm gonna go over the standings from the East and the West, so you could definitely see exactly where the top teams are at right now in this season. Let's kind of go with the Indiana Pacers. The Phoenix Suns beat the Indiana Pacers. Let me just say this, man. The Phoenix Suns, to me, man, I don't think they're gonna go far. They have, with Jamon Crawford not playing for whatever reason, he did feel like he wasn't valued as a player on his role. He said that he feels he knows what he brought to that basketball club, and for them not to really validate him on his value to the team, and then maybe probably dealing with contract situation. They didn't, he sat out, and I think he's still even waiting for a team to be traded to. So let's kind of get into it. So you had Buddy Hield for 22 points. Man, wouldn't it have been nice for Buddy Hield to play for the Los Angeles Lakers? Wouldn't it have been nice for him to play for the Los Angeles Lakers? I'm of the mindset I think he would have been a better fit than Russell Westbrook with the Los Angeles Lakers. And this is no knock on Russ, man. I like Russ. Russ is going to play night in and night out. He's going to give it 110%. And I like him as a ball player, but I just think with his playing style, it's not conducive to play alongside with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And my Lord, Anthony Davis just can't even stay healthy enough to have some type of continuity of consistency. And that's a problem, man. You had Miles Turner, 16 points. It would have been great if they would have had the Lakers would have had Miles Turner to be able to play alongside with Anthony Davis, where Anthony Davis can play more outside the perimeter, which what he likes to do. And Miles Turner could be more of that actual center slash power forward to get the rebounds, block shots, and even post up and be a threat inside the paint. You had TJ McConnell had 18 points. Then you have Jalen Smith, 11 points. Then you have Benedict Mathurin at 23 points. So, man, you can see the Indiana Pacers, man, they had a great balance of points, but it wasn't enough to beat the Phoenix Suns. So let's kind of go through them. You have Mikal Bridges at 22 points, Damian Lee at 16 points, and then you had Josh Okogie, 24 points, Saban Lee at 12 points. You had Bismack Biyombo, 12 points, and then you had right here Jock Landale at 10 points and Dwayne Washington Jr. at 9 points. Let me just say this, man. The inactive players was Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Laundry Shamet, Cameron Payne, and Jay Crowder. And then you had Tyrese Halliburton for Indiana, Kendall Brown for Indiana, and Daniel Thesis that did not play. I'm just going to say this, man. I still feel, and this is just my thoughts. DeAndre Ayton did not play for illness. Cameron Johnson did not play for illness, is that there is something wrong down in Phoenix. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I don't like DeAndre Ayton. I believe DeAndre Ayton smells his own butt, and I think he really plays and he really doesn't have that actual mentality to listen to the coach. And I think, ever since last season when they got their butt whipped, and they Luka Doncic had put it on him, and then there was that fiasco when Coach Mo Williams asked him to go in the game and he didn't want to go in the game. That really rubbed me the wrong way. So I can only imagine how that rubbed the actual coach the wrong way. And for that reason, I don't think they're going to go deep into the playoffs. So now let's go to our next matchup on Saturday. The next matchup on Saturday was the Sacramento Kings versus the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers, I believe they won all 5 of their games on the road trip. They're 129, 127. Let's kind of go to their balance attacks. You had Tobias Harris had 17 points. Montrezl Harrell had 17 points. DeAnthony Melton had 14 points. Tyrese Maxey. Let me tell y'all about Tyrese Maxey, man. Tyrese Maxey, for me, is a great ball player, man. I really like him as a professional basketball player. The guy is quick. The guy can get his own shot off. The guy can drive to the basket. He has great dribbling skills, and he definitely, if he keeps this up, he's definitely going to be a star player in this league if he's able to stay healthy. Shake Milton had 15 points. You had Niang had 17 points. Paul Reed had 9 points. And then you had Joel Embiid did not play for illness. And then you have several other players that did not play. For the Sacramento Kings, you had Harrison Barnes had 27 points. He's still in the league, man. And he had a 61.5 field goal percentage, which is real good. Then you had Kevin Hunter at 20 points. Sabonis had 16 points. He had shot 70% from the field. He gave you 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and he had 4 turnovers, though. Now, with that being said, you had De'Aaron Fox. I like De'Aaron Fox, man. He's one of my favorite point guards, man. He was 11 for 19 from the field with 57.9 field goal percentage. He had shot 90% from the free throw range. He actually had 9 assists, 2 steals. I like him, man. I think De'Aaron Fox is definitely a great player, and I hope he gets an opportunity to make the All Star team. He should be able to make the All Star team with him and Sabonis. They're a great 1-2 punch. So I definitely like both of them players. And that's it, man, that we had for Saturday, man. So I really do appreciate y'all for actually supporting the Affirmative Talk channel. Hey, do me a huge favor, man. Continue to subscribe, continue to comment, especially through my community area on my YouTube channel. And also, if you want to continue to support the channel for the channel continue to grow, hit that join button, man. And it's only like, I think it's like $5 to become a member. YouTube takes about $1.50 off, but every dollar will definitely go back into pouring into my channel for the NBA. So now what I'm going to do for my channel though, but now what I wanted to do is go back to the stats so we can look at the East and the West. So I want to take a look at both of those things. So let's kind of go back and see where we at with that. And give me 1 second. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want, I don't think. Here we go. Let's share that. So now we're here. So let's kind of go back to the standings. So as you can see, the Boston Celtics has a 75% winning percentage. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They're number one at the East. So they're probably up there as being the favorites. Is going down deep into the playoffs from out the East. Then you have Philadelphia. They was on a 5-game road winning streak. They was 30-16. Boston 35-12. You have the Milwaukee Bucks 29-17. Brooklyn Nets 28-17. You can't count them out there in the top 4 seed out the East. And then you have Cleveland 29-19, and then the Miami Heat at 25-22. Everybody else, man, I just don't think they're a strong enough team to go deep down in out the East. Okay. Now let's go to the Western Conference, man. Here's our top 6 teams. You have the Golden State Warriors 23-23. Let me tell you about Golden State. I know that their numbers in the winning column is struggling. The West to me is a very competitive Western Conference, man. And I'm telling you, man, you have some people that may disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you right now, they are very competitive coming out of the West, and you have to be accountable of that. So that's why I feel that even though they're number 6, you can't really count them out because they're champions. And I feel it's still early in the season. Once they get things back healthy and get that nucleus right, they're going to be a force to reckon with. Okay. Then you have the Dallas Mavericks at number 5, 25-22. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I do not understand how they let Brunson go. There's no way in the world I would have had let Brunson go. And it was sad, man. When he had left, man, it didn't really seem that nobody was really mad or agitated besides Luka Doncic. And you can tell he is expressing his frustration because he's saying that, behind the scenes, man, they need to make some moves to get some better players on the team to surround him with, because, you don't want to wear your superstar player out where he having to score 40 points a game just to be a threat and to win the game in the regular season. Okay. You want to save that energy for the postseason. You have the New Orleans Pelicans, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. Watch out for the Pelicans, man. I'm telling y'all something, man. They have lost 3 games in a row. But at the same token, in a 7-game series, they could be scary to deal with. Number 3, the Sacramento Kings. A round of applause for the Kings. A round of applause for the Kings, man. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I like De'Aaron Fox. I like Sabonis. I like how they're able to play together as a team. So give them flowers, man. The Memphis Grizzlies is number 2, 31-14. And then the Denver Nuggets is on a 9-game winning streak, man. Let me tell y'all something. Nikola Jokic, he may not be the flashiest player. He may not be the most athletic player. But at the end of the day, man, what he's doing with that team, and they're at number 1 out of the West right now. And let me see, they're 33-13, and then you have 35-12. So they're only 2 games back from out of the Boston Celtics to be the most winningest team in NBA. So Nikola Jokic, man, has a real good opportunity to win another MVP. Man, my Lakers, man. Yeah, number 13, man. They're struggling big time, man. I'm not sure is if it's even worth it to make some trades right now and hold on to it. But you know what? My personal mindset is I'm kind of torn in between. I'm not sure if it might be better to trade LeBron James and trade him to a contender, and that way you may start your rebuild and still be able to keep those 2 first-round picks and see where the chips may fall in the lottery. That's an option. I don't really like it, but that is an option. So you have to really look at from a GM perspective and from the owner perspective what is going to be best for your team for the long term. And that's it, man, for my stats, man. So I really appreciate everyone, man. Stay tuned to my next video. And you always know my motto: always strive to be the best version of yourself, and take care, man. And God bless.